Graham, how are you doing?
Hey
Good to see
Bart, I'm
you.
doing well. Good to see you too. How you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain. I'm enjoying the journey, but I'm also extremely tired. Like I've been awake for I think now close to 44, 45 hours. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
I believe that. That sounds about right.
Eh?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
about right. It's what we're all doing pretty much, right? Working like crazy over here.
It's launch time, so sacrifices are needed to reach the goal and to make sure that this will be an historic moment in EstateX history, and to make sure that we are going to speak all about it. And we've been preparing like crazy. I'll get you guys some background info on what's been happening as well, and some details about the launch. But also, what we're going to do is we're going to speak, Graham, about the complete tech stack. And I've been looking forward to this AMA. I'll be honest, for quite a while, because
This is going to be exciting, let me tell you.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the
Yeah.
audience has seen you on video sometimes, and obviously they know about you. And I always speak very highly of you. But we're now also coming to a stage where we can actually live explain now all the tech that we've been working on, what we've been developing, where we're heading towards, what the vision is. So yeah, very exciting. Looking forward. I can't wait for all the EstateX investors and the audience here to actually experience what it is working with Graham and where he's leading us towards on the tech stack. So yeah, great to be here. So first of all, I'll do some general things before we dive into the Graham AMA. Yeah, we announced the Google grant. So guys, we have received a grant from Google Cloud, which is pretty exciting, because we have received now 2 grants from Microsoft. We've received now a grant from Google Cloud. We've been sitting on this for some time, but it's very exciting, because it means that you can't get very easily these grants. These grants are given in the Google Cloud Starter Program towards companies who actually have proven to deliver something. And the measurements that they take is that you have serious backers, you've raised multiple funding rounds, raising millions, are actually doing something that also aligns with the Google Cloud. And I think that what we are doing with the AI agent and the AI agent that we're building is also great to use their computing power and their hosting capabilities. And it's great that we got support from not only a top tier company like Microsoft, but also from Google Cloud, which is also just a testament and appreciation to what we're doing. So yeah, very excited about that. You guys went hard on that today. So really appreciate that. So yeah, lots more things to cover later on about the launch, about exchanges, etc. But first, Graham, let's dive into the tech stack and everything that we've been building from a technical standpoint. But first of all, Graham, some community members know that you actually recently became a father for the first time. And I haven't experienced it myself, but I've heard from so many people that's the most beautiful thing there is. And how is life as a dad now, as a newborn dad?
Well, everybody said that you'd be ready, that you wouldn't be ready when the child finally came. And I thought to myself, Bart, I thought, oh, I got this, no problem, right? I have the nursery done. I'm all prepared. And honestly, my daughter, she showed up 5 months ago. And I thought to myself, I'm absolutely not prepared whatsoever. But it's the best thing ever. I love her to bits. And You asked me a while back, how do you feel? Do you feel any different? Honestly, you don't. You're just a little more tired, right? But it's something that I would recommend to everyone. But it takes a lot of energy out of you, right? So it's a good thing. It's a good thing for her mother, right, that she's there to take care of her and stuff. Because I'm dedicated like 110% to EstateX. You know that, Bart.
Yeah, I can confirm that. Like the amount of times that we've been able to reach this man, where you normally think, okay, he comes on as an employee, it's a 9 to 5, and then after that, because you got so many employees that are like 9 to 5, and then after 5, like, why is my boss calling me? This is outside my working time, so see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? But the availability that Graham has, and the dedication that he has shown during weekends, during evenings, during very early mornings, also sacrificing his family time. I remember when the first days you became a dad, we launched actually the first property offering that we sold out in 5 minutes. And I remember how dedicated you were. And yeah, my sincere gratitude towards that, and the dedication that is shown. And yeah, it's really amazing.
Well, I really believe in this company, and I believe in the foundational ideology of this company. And hopefully I can shed some light on that here pretty soon. But, I love this job. That's why I'm committed to it. And I love this company. And I think we have great things in our future.
100%, 100%. So let's dive right into. So Graham, for the people that don't know a lot about you, could you tell a little bit more about yourself? Maybe make an introduction.
Yeah, sure. Well, probably I'll start off with kind of, how I got involved in crypto and what motivated me to get involved in crypto, right? So for those of you that don't know, I got involved in crypto around 2012, right? And this was when Bitcoin was around 10 or $15. And I was, I know, early, right? So I was mining Bitcoin on old ATI 5770 GPUs. That's right. When you could still do it on GPUs, and ASICs were just coming on the scene. So I really got involved, of course, to make money like everyone, but also because I truly believed in the principles of democratizing finance and the whole ideology behind the movement. Be your own bank, be in control of your own destiny and your own future and your own finances, right? So around 2013 is really when Bitcoin started to become, in my opinion, centralized, right? So you kind of had a discrepancy between the currency holders, people who own Bitcoin, and people who were mining Bitcoin, right? Because you started having sovereign wealth funds come in, institutional miners come in, right? And it wasn't just normal guys like you and me, Bart, who were mining Bitcoin on their computers. You had these really big players coming in. And when that happened, you had a divergence of motivations, right? Somebody who is mining the chain just to make money has entirely different motivations than somebody who is actually holding the currency, right? So that really kind of struck a nerve with me, and I started to explore other consensus mechanisms and other types of technologies that would really kind of put the fire back in the initial ideology of the whole movement, right? So back then you had the first, proof of stake currencies coming out. The first one I got involved in was one called Next, NXT. You never hear anybody talk about it now, right? It's kind of old hat. Everybody's forgotten about it, but it was really the first proof of stake currency, right? And that really, the whole idea of getting the motivations and the ability of currency holders to mine and secure the blockchain for themselves and not relying on external miners, that really resonated with me, right? And I would say ever since then, I have been dedicating myself to trying to help bring back that original ideology into cryptocurrency projects, right? Because I think that is something that a lot of projects lack. They focus all on institutional, which that's a major component. Don't get me wrong. You have to have that to kind of bootstrap yourself. But I think sometimes the original ideological motivations of putting the power back in the hands of the people, democratizing finance again, I think that really needs to be driven home and really kind of ingrained in the technology stack. And that is what we're working on doing.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, It's actually it aligns so much with the EstateX vision, where obviously you need to focus on the institutional, because that is also where massive company growth is. Don't get me wrong, that's how you become a big player. But the ideology, I think, of blockchain technology lays with the decentralization of finance, which is a solution for the average individual, right? So yeah, I think it's beautiful that you are committed to that, but also that aligns so much with the EstateX vision, where we're also trying to empower the average individual with the financial solutions that we have and the platform that we're building. So is that also what really attracted you to EstateX, or what was really that trigger that thought, okay, this is the company where I want to commit to?
Honestly, right on target, Bart. Right.
Or
So I
was it
went on
Steve
your.
asking that M&O question?
Well,
What was it?
that was part of it. Steve's a smart guy. Steve's very intelligent, right? And I love that question. But honestly, I heard the vision. You and Steve relayed that vision to me. Of being able to, leverage your money like institutional players leverage your money, and being able to invest with as little as $100 or €100 into a property, and then get some returns off that. And that really struck a nerve with me. And I thought, this is this is really something that I would like to dedicate myself to. And I think, like everyone, Bart, I grew up in a middle class family. You grew up in a middle class family. We pretty much all did. And we have kind of seen the evisceration of that, of the middle class, right? And, society is now kind of diverged into the haves and the haves not, right? Have nots. And I think that, utilizing the power of technology to level that playing field for everyone again, and allow everyone to participate equally, it's mutually beneficial to everyone, to the high net worth individuals, to the low net worth individuals. It's mutually beneficial and increases liquidity. It opens up the playing field, and it really allows asset classes to truly be able to find the correct price point, because you have multiple inputs, not just from the high end, but also from the low end.
I I I love that. I love that we're so aligned with the vision, and exactly, it's crazy how the gap between the rich and the poor stays growing, but it's almost like there is no middle class anymore. It's almost like it gets divided between the upper middle class that might also get dragged down, but might be still a bit in that higher segment, and the lower middle class, who is just completely almost getting erased at the moment. Trying to very, very much struggling to pay their bills, and they're really now getting into the sort of lower class. It almost seems like you don't have three classes anymore. It almost seems like the middle class now gets divided into two: the upper class and the lower class, and the problem, seems to continue only to grow, which is one of the obviously the ideological foundations of EstateX that we want to change. And Graham, asking you about the platform that we have and the solutions that we offer. Obviously, you're the CTO here, and a lot of people are dying to know about what we've been developing on a tech side, on the investment platform for the EU side. We will probably very shortly announce the first EU property offering, which is going to be very, very exciting. And obviously, you've been preparing that, but also just in general on the white label technology, et cetera, et cetera. Could you tell a little bit more about what the team has been working on and what progress has been made?
Sure, absolutely. So I think I will preface this by saying, if you go to the EstateX website, all it says on there is real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, right? And it's a main component of what we're doing, right? And it is a main target market segment, right? But behind the scenes, the company is kind of evolving itself into a total RWA ecosystem and platform, right? So as we have been building out this white label technology, it's important to keep in mind that we're building it out to facilitate total RWA acceptance, not just real estate, not just one specific asset class, right? Predominantly, that's what you see right now, but behind the scenes, it's a different story, right? And by building it out that way, we're really kind of covering all our bases for future expansion. And we have had a lot of potential integrators come to us that are not just real estate companies. As you know, Bart, they're in all different types of asset classes that they want to have tokenized and fractionalized and leverage the power of the EstateX platform, right? Because really what we're building is we're building like a SaaS stack, right? So in this SaaS stack that we're building, we're kind of going for operational autonomy, right? So these third-party integrators can come in, they can run it themselves with our assistance, but behind the scenes, we're basically doing everything for them. They're able to establish a type of tailored branding for themselves on the website and on the platform, and we're able to also implement market-specific functionality that's uniquely tailored to their specific needs and their specific end goals, right? Um, I think I would also like to say that, when these integrators come to us, they often ask us, well, how are we going to monetize this? How do we make money off this platform, right? So we're establishing a whole dynamic of pricing fees and pricing structures on the website that can be dynamically adjusted on a per asset basis for individual transactions. We're also implementing memberships, right? So there are different membership tiers that they can sell and they can utilize and provide to their customer base, and they can monetize that also. Um, I guess some more features that we are integrating into the platform would be an entire comprehensive KYC, KYB, know your customer, know your business, AML protocols, right? That go from initial onboarding all the way to transactional purchasing and vetting where incoming funds are coming from. We're utilizing a multi-layer encryption scheme to lock everything down on our platform. We're, of course, working to integrate in the ESX blockchain. So when testnet launches next month, you're going to be able to, we're going to basically integrate that testnet into our platform, right? But we're integrating ESX blockchain for immutability on transactions and for customer data. Maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. We're also implementing something that I think is kind of really exciting. It's real-time fraud detection, right? So we're able to pick up using that AML fraud that might be occurring, and that is something that has been asked for by potential integrators that have come to us, right? They kind of are looking for that. So I think something else that's important to note here too is that a lot of people think that we're a crypto company, and while we are, we don't want to simply pigeonhole ourselves by only accepting cryptocurrency payments, right? So when we're building out this white label technology in this SaaS stack, we are doing so in a payment agnostic way, right? So when people go to pay for assets, they can pay with crypto if they want to, but we're also integrating payment flows for debit card acceptance, credit card acceptance, and bank transfer acceptance too. And along with these different payment flows, we're building into the system a way for a complete audit trail to be established for compliance.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think that within these plans, obviously, like I always say, the ESX blockchains, plays such a major role, and obviously linked to the ESX token that's going to launch on the exchange tomorrow. Where the ESX token is the native currency of the EstateX blockchain, which our investors have invested into, and every ecosystem asset gets tokenized, whether that be a white label customer that we don't even need to sell the assets to. And Graham, some big names that we're currently in advanced negotiations with to onboard on the blockchain, and that all adds to the value locked on the EstateX blockchain, or whether that be assets that we sell directly ourselves with the tech solutions. And Graham, you have written out a full scope, a full plan of where we want to head towards with the ESX blockchain, the whole different layer ones for different geographical areas and asset classes, unified by a layer 0 with these unique tech aspects that we have, which you will also dive into. You've already done a little bit, such as the regulated tokenization, the ownership in the smart contract, the fraud detection, and all the ZK KYC that we have. But you will go into that in a bit, I can imagine. But can you explain first to the audience, what is your long-term vision with the EstateX blockchain? And not really from a commercial side, but from a tech standpoint, why have you developed these plans with these different L1s and this unified layer 0? What made you come up with that? What are the benefits for it, and where do you see this heading? Because obviously we start with the layer one, just a simple, basic layer one, but where are we going to head towards? What is your technical vision on that?
Sure. Well, in general, what we're working to develop here is a multi-jurisdictional RWA blockchain, which leverages the power of massively parallel L1 chains to deliver high transactional throughput and international cross-chain transactions in a regulated manner, right? So, mainly the reason we're developing it this way is because there are so many different jurisdictional regulations and things we have to be in compliance with. We have to make sure, and we have to build a blockchain that is easily able to seamlessly facilitate compliance with those rules, right? So it's very possible in the future, what you will see is you will see multiple L1 blockchains for a specific geographical region, but also with a specific purpose, right? So you might see one L1 blockchain that's simply for KYC, right? For customer KYC. And then running beside that, you will have other L1 blockchains that are for transactions, right? Maybe some might be designated just for a real estate asset class. And another one might be designated simply for a specialty asset class, right? But the ability to take those blockchains and spin up more blockchains seamlessly to provide that global throughput that we're going to need, because as you said, Bart, these companies we're talking to, these are big hitters. These are big players, right? They're not doing one or two transactions every few minutes, right? They're pushing through a ton of throughput, and we have to be able to accommodate them, right? And we have to be able to accommodate them in a way that we can scale seamlessly on demand. And this is the best way that I know how to do it, right? So, additionally, some of these integrators, they need verifiable KYC, right? And that is why I mentioned previously, we might have one chain that is simply for, KYC or KYB identity, right? I would say in addition to the actual underlying blockchain, one of the things that we're looking to create too are blockchain integrated applications, right? We have some ideas we've been bouncing around with each other. We kind of have to keep them hush hush, right? But blockchain integrated applications, one in specific would be a new type of digital asset wallet, right? And this new type of digital asset wallet will basically allow users to leverage the benefits of decentralized finance and the tokenized and fractionalized assets that they're going to be purchasing through our blockchain.
Yeah, because a question that previously always popped up when we pitched this, Graham, and maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that. Why just not choose one L1? Like, if you have to sort of rapid fire what the exact benefit is of the structure that what your vision is and where we're working towards, as opposed to just one L1.
Right. Well, if we just chose one L1, we could not. The first main reason is these third-party integrators that are coming to us, they simply won't. The existing L1s won't accommodate their needs, right? So we kind of had to start from scratch. We have to have a strong foundation. Like any house, you have to have a strong foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, the house is going to collapse. So we didn't want to put we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves and rush and just jump on some L1 that could not accommodate the needs of these third-party integrators, because we're already talking to them. They're already here. They have these needs. So we need to make sure that our solution can cater to them, And besides the third-party integrators, EstateX itself, we're going to have a lot of people using this platform. We have to be able to accommodate them, right? And it's important to note that, and this will become more apparent as time goes on, but we are the only platform, we're going to be the only blockchain out there that can accommodate these third-party actors, right? So we have to be able to fulfill their needs. And I guess I'll hint at some of the things we're kind of working on behind the scenes here, right? We kind of mentioned them earlier. Bart, I know you mentioned ZK proofs, right? So we're working on doing stuff with ZK identity solutions for basically securing and sharing user data, right? With authorized third parties, right? So these potential integrators and their potential third parties who they're using for KYC, right? We need to be able to share this information in a private and secure manner. So we're going to be utilizing ZK proofs to do that, right? We are looking to have regulated EWPG tokenization on the blockchain, which is going to be enforced via smart contracts. That's something very novel that you won't see on any other chains. And another thing you also won't see on any other chains are we're developing right now and behind the scenes new token contract standards. Okay, and these token contract standards are basically specifically designed for specific asset classes and RWA assets.
I think you've explained it very, very well, and I think for the audience is now completely clear. I've been checking the Telegram a bit, and I have to say, Graham, the people love you. The people absolutely love you. So, Graham, obviously the EstateX blockchain is going to testnet next month. The 16th of July is the date. Very exciting stuff. Could you tell us a little bit more about what we can expect during testnet? And is there any way also the audience or the EstateX community is able to interact or assist with testnet, contributing to the development?
Sure, absolutely. So, as Bart said, the testnet's going live next month. It's going to be very exciting. You will see before that happens, right? You will see nodes get stood up, right? Those nodes will be stood up on our infrastructure, right? Because it's a testnet, and we are going to be showcasing basically a block explorer that people can go to, and they can see blocks being produced, finalized, and transactions being validated on the testnet. Really, this is going to be a way for us to showcase RWA integration with the EstateX platform and white label technology, right? So I hinted earlier, we're going to have that ESX integration into our platform. Our platform has come a long way since we first started developing it, and we're right at the cusp of needing our own blockchain to be integrated into it so we can test out certain features and functionalities. So that is why there's been such an impetus and a priority given to getting this testnet live and getting it out there so we can integrate it with our white label solution and we can showcase this to potential integrators. In reality, it's just going to allow us to kind of establish some type of financial independence in a concrete use case for ESX, which is our native transactional token.
Beautiful. So, once we're on testnet, we will obviously, have do some tests. We'll be obviously working with the RWA projects that we're currently onboarding. How can they basically assist in the development? Because obviously we will be testing out some things with them. But
Sure.
Also, how fast do you think we could go to mainnet? What is the roadmap, you think, from testnet to mainnet?
Well, I think before the end of the year, by the end of the year, I think you're going to see mainnet come out, right? And it's going to take us a little bit of time because a lot of these game-changing features that we're working on, we got to test them, right? We have them developed. We're working on finishing up the development of them, but we got to test them, and that takes a little bit of time because I always say this. I say this to everyone: security is paramount, right? And you have to be so cognizant of making sure all the parameters are set right and everything is locked down, and making sure we cross our T's and dot our I's. We want to accelerate development as much as possible, but not at the sake of sacrificing security. So my best estimate to you would be before the end of the year, right? And as things get developed and as we work on things, it might be sooner, but I would say by the end of the year.
All right, perfect. Good to hear. Yeah, I think a lot of people have also been asking: is there any way they can be integrated within the blockchain or assisting themselves via validating nodes or mining possibilities? What are your thoughts on that? And do you have any vision regarding that?
Sure. Well, when mainnet goes live, what we're going to have is we're going to have basically a proof of stake system, right? So this is something that I talked about at the beginning of the call. I think it's very important for currency holders to be able to participate in securing the chain, right? It increases security, it unifies motivations, and it just creates a more cohesive environment for everybody to take part. And it falls in line with our whole idea of financial inclusion for everyone, right? Um, Now, I will say this too, and Bart, you know this, and this really excites me, but we are going to have some node sales in the future, right? And we're currently in talks and in arrangements with setting up nodes that are going to be run by certain individuals. And these individuals, when they start running these nodes, it's going to greatly increase the publicity of the ESX blockchain. So this is something Steve knows about. This is something Bart knows about. I'm really excited about it. And this is something that you guys are going to want to stay tuned for, because this is just going to knock your socks off. It's going to be great.
Amazing, amazing. You just spilled some secrets, some alpha
I
for
couldn't have.
the EstateX family. No, absolutely great. Graham, is there, we're coming to a close for the technical AMA before I dive into the launch stuff. Are there any closing remarks that you want to give about the future, where we're heading towards, the potential, and just your feeling about EstateX in general?
Sure. Well, I would say, from everything I know, from an insider scoop, the rationale and the reason for me joining the company, it's only been reinforced with me working with you guys over the past year. And the vision that we are laying out, it is so dynamically different than a lot of other blockchain projects. A lot of blockchain projects, they're in it for the extremely short duration. They don't have a good vision or a good grasp as to the true motivations and what really draws people to a cryptocurrency project. And they lack vision. They lack overall vision, and they're in for short-term profits. And by focusing and directing the company's culture and resources in a manner that really emphasizes long-term planning and what really resonates with people, we're on the course for great success here, right? Because it is going to, how you get to people is through their hearts and their minds. And when we're able to appeal to the mass general populace, the projects I'm talking about were, EstateX University, right? That's something that's major, right? And being able to help people really improve the quality of their lives and improve their financial outlook. That is what is really going to drive mass adoption of this platform, right? It's not going to be one individual thing, but it's going to be the comprehensive inclusion of mass sections of the general populace who have been left behind, for lack of a better word, right? And it's my goal, it's Bart's goals, it's Steve's goal that we are able to develop something that appeals to everyone and is really able to improve everyone's lives, right? People with a lot of money, people not a lot of money, people from wherever they are geographically, to help them better their lives. And that is the main impetus behind this company. And that is what we get up and we work towards every day. And we're going for great things, and it's going to be wonderful to see it transpire in the future, Bart.
Thank you so much, Graham. I really appreciate your time. We should do these AMAs, I think, a lot more. I think we should maybe make it into a monthly thing or something like that. The monthly tech update with CTO Graham. That would be cool.
We could. That'd be neat. But I got to concentrate on the tech stack and this SAS thing and white label platform and blockchain. But hey, I'm up for it if you are, Bart.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Graham. I want to thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the day there in the United States. Obviously, a lot of work to do with the launch and to manage that, and also from the technical standpoint. So lots to do still, and a very exciting day tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
I'm not going to be sleeping tonight. I'm going to be up all night waiting for this launch, Bart. You and me together. Yeah.
You and me together, rightfully so. Graham, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and see you. Great rest of the day.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was something, huh? Amazing. Just allow me to do a couple of messages. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get into some launch nitty-gritty. We'll be doing these AMAs, by the way, with Graham much more often, because, you know, what amazes me always about Graham is that Graham is, what you see with a lot of tech people is that they usually are or very tech savvy, or they're like more social savvy. But Graham is quite unique in having that both. He's very well spoken, but he's also extremely tech savvy, as you guys can notice. So yeah, he's a great asset to the company, and I think you guys can know why we hired him now. Extremely knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about, extremely hardworking and dedicated as well, and loves the aesthetic vision. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get about some launch details. First of all, about what we announced this morning, because we announced basically the some of the launch details already. So as you know, guys, MEXC announced us. This will be one of our exchanges. They had offered us a future spot where you could trade with like 50x leverage, but we thought we want to start with stable stability and grow from there, instead of creating very high risky volatile situations. I think it's better, as we know, we've been developing this for so long, that it's very, very important that we start in a proper manner, and make sure that we, what we see with a lot of projects as well is that, you could launch at let's say, for example, a $50 million market cap, and then put 50K into the liquidity pool, and then which obviously doesn't align. It's a total discrepancy between the actual value into the token and the market cap that it is. And then basically with some small buys, you're able to sort of increase your market cap significantly, because if your liquidity pool grows, then that obviously also has a direct impact significantly on the market cap, and that causes a sort of a situation where you see very inflated market caps which do not correlate at all to the actual value that's in the token. So that also leads me to the initial market cap that we have and the circulating supply. There's still some very minor changes being made, but the initial circulating supply, excluding liquidity, will be around 700K market cap. I mean, including, we're talking about a little over 1.4 million, including liquidity. So we make sure that the liquidity also aligns with the tokens that we have, they're 101, and to make sure that it also represents the actual value of the EstateX token and the chart that we have, so we don't see these crazy inflated market caps. Market caps do not always tell the full story, guys. So we want to make sure that we stabilize on a good floor price and grow from there. We're obviously a very long-term project. Like Steve always says, we have the heart, we have the determination to make this into a huge success. Now, also saw some questions about the gaming tokens. So the gaming tokens, they follow private round vesting for the EstateX Moonshot game. So they get 5% TGE, 4-month cliff, 9-month vesting. Also, in talks with exchanges and some launch partners, we want to make sure that our long-term vision and stabilizing on a good floor and protect obviously the long-term commitments of our stakers. We've been developing this for 5 years, and with a lot of people locking up their tokens voluntarily, it's absolutely important that we protect them. So there have been given out a lot of bonus tokens within the EstateX ecosystem, within the EstateX pre. So these are not tokens that are actually earned, they're given on advice to decrease the circulating supply and to make sure that we have a more successful launch, decrease sell pressure, have a better floor, protect our long-term investors. These will go on a 3-month cliff, and then with they follow the private round investing, so 9-month linear. The launch will be at 2 p.m. So 2 p.m. UTC, we will launch, which is morning time for Americans, which is afternoon time for Europeans, and which is then evening time for Asians. So we can basically make sure that we cover the whole market. The claiming will go open at 2:30. So at 2:30 UTC, investors will be able to claim their tokens. And we do this on advice of all our strategic partners to make sure that we can get the buy pressure in first, establish a good price floor, and from there on, make sure that we have the longevity, have that successful launch, which is extremely, extremely important for the future development of the company. That's also why we have not rushed into a launch for 5 years, to protect the long-term stakeholders. And then when investors are able to claim, it will be already on a higher price floor, basically meaning that if they want to sell, it does not get sold into the listing price, but it basically gets sold into something that's already higher, to make sure that we establish that floor price and can build on from there with the properties that we have, the utility inflow, the business model, secondary exchange listings, etc., etc. Okay. So we're gonna launch on SEX first. I'll get into the SEX in a bit. We're gonna launch on the SEX first, then a couple of minutes later we're gonna launch on the DEX. That prevents the immediate sniping. We don't want our supply to get sniped at the beginning. That could completely ruin the project. So this is the safety measure that we put in place. The NFT tokens, there's also been some questions about. The NFT tokens will go on a week cliff at launch. Now, I know that there are investors that have staked 100% of their NFT, of their allocation. So they staked 100% of their allocation, and therefore they had an NFT to want to receive tokens at TGE. Now, I have good news for the guys that staked 100% of their allocation, because the people that staked 100% of their allocation, they can send a DM to either Marty or to Xavier. We will collect your details and we will make sure that you will get an allocation at launch. Obviously, we need to, in exchange, it's the same thing for bonus tokens. We need to protect the sell pressure, circulating supply, etc., etc. And NFTs have been going on for a while, so they will be claimable a week later. But for the people that have 100% stake of their allocation, they can DM the team and make sure that they get an allocation at launch. All right. Let me see. Is there anything else that we need to discuss? The DEXs. We will launch on the Radium for Solana, and we will launch on Uniswap. And the claiming tokens are on Base. And on the DEX on Uniswap, there will be a pool Ethereum ESX. So that will be the trading pairs. And on Solana, it's Solana ESX. We were first thinking, okay, stablecoin. But just to get that we're doing a lot of advertisements as well in Solana communities and Base communities to attract that new user base, to integrate them also with this whole AMA marathon. There were a lot more AMAs as well in private communities that weren't public. So we've been really being able to reach these people and also converting them into long-term holders. Okay, then let's go into the exchanges. So as you guys know, we have MEXC. Furthermore, so we've been getting listing offer from a very, very well-known exchange. Like I said this morning, the introduction came directly from DNA. Our backers, our partners, co-founded by the Brock Pierce, the USDT founder, who's also our lead investor. And initially, we were in talks for a secondary listing because they couldn't meet the TGE deadline, and then they could make the deadline we got last weekend, but it turns out they need more time. But we are now in a position where we've given them 24 hours. We don't want to give them more time to make work, so we're going to launch tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC, and we're going to do that with MEXC, Radium, Uniswap, and we're also going to do that with HTX. And then we're going to get the secondary exchange listings from other exchanges. We got a lot of offers, guys. We got offers from, in total, 10 exchanges. We could have listed on a lot, but it's also obviously also a consideration to make, like, is it always worth the budget? Does it always make sense? Are exchanges also aligned with your vision? And you have to make a decision if that is also worth the investment, worth the ROI. We think we have a very good strategy. We have done lots and lots of marketing. There's lots of buy pressure left in the community. Things are looking very well. And HTX is an exchange that I'll look it up. They're at trading volume. They're quite big. I think they're one of the biggest exchanges in the world, actually. $4 billion trading volume, $6.5 billion in total assets. So yeah, great to add that to the lineup. The other exchange couldn't make it, but we want to make sure that we go ahead with the launch. Very, very excited about all of that. So guys, very exciting stuff. I can't wait for tomorrow. We will put some posts out on full explainers and everything else, and a lot of great things will happen tomorrow. Some surprises we have as well. And then after that, guys, it's literally, like I always say, the starting point is tomorrow. We've been developing for 5 years just to get to the starting point, and the starting point happens tomorrow. And I'm extremely, extremely excited about that because the real work starts tomorrow. Like then is when we're gonna list the business model. The blockchain coming to testnet next month. The utilities starting to come into play. The after marketing things that we're doing. So yeah, very, very exciting stuff. The community has gone absolutely crazy lately. I love that. I absolutely love that. More than, I think we're close to like more than 2,000 messages a day currently, which is just insane. The EstateX family is insane, always been insane. So yeah, guys, if you have any other questions, I'll be available tonight. I'll be probably active in the community. Got to take an important call in 5 minutes, and then we're going to prepare stuff through the night for tomorrow. And then tomorrow is the big day, guys, the starting point, and it's just the beginning of a long-term journey. We're not here for a quick pump and dump. We're here to build and establish a unicorn, a company that is for the ages, going to make a change in the world. We're here for the longevity, the long run. We have so many great foundations in place, so many big backers. As you can see with Graham, we have absolutely magnificent team on board. So yeah, guys, I can't wait. I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be very, very exciting. And yeah, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of the day. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow for the big day. Cheers. Thank you.